What up, YouTube? How you guys doing? This is JoezMcfly here, and today we're going to be talking about a couple of things. Yesterday, just some Yankee news real quick. Yesterday, Brian Cashman met with the media, talked to a couple of people as well, and had some interesting quotes about a couple of things, and I just wanted to just watch it with you guys and just react to it and see what you guys are thinking. If you guys can, my next video that I have coming out after this should be I believe it's going to be kind of like a full news cycle one. I'm going to talk about all of the teams and what they've done to that point. So make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe for that. Also, you know what? Leave a question in the comments, and I'll probably try to include that at the beginning of the next video. And then we could just go ahead and just talk about, just have a nice little conversation about what's going on, right? So Brian Cashman talked to the media yesterday, and I wanted to wait. You know, I didn't want to release stuff yesterday, really, because of everything going on and what was happening. Election day, I just did not want to take away from anything like that. I'm not, like, I'll never talk politics on the channel. I just want to put that out there. But I also did not want to distract from anything doing that. So, Cashman talked to the media, has some interesting quotes. Let's go ahead and hop right into it and see what we think about what he says. I'm not going to overreact. By the way, shout out to SNY who put out all of these videos from the GM meetings. I believe that they started yesterday, and we'll get some more quotes also throughout the week. Just I wanted to touch base and kind of just have this out there now. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this. The offseason is already in full swing. Thing about when you make it to the World Series, the offseason like creeps up on you right away. Like 2 days after the World Series, people are already making decisions on players, options, and things like that. And Gerrit Cole opted out of his contract, you know, I guess to try to see if he could get an extra year, see if he could get the Yankees to opt back in. Yankees called his bluff, and what happened, Gerrit Cole just said, oh, you know what, just kidding. I'm going to go ahead and stay here for the 4 years remaining on my contract. So that was pretty funny, pretty interesting. Gleyber Torres was not extended a qualifying offer. Actually, the only Yankee that was extended a qualifying offer was Juan Soto. So on Juan Soto news, I think Brian Cashman talks about it a little bit on here somewhere in this video, so we'll go ahead and we'll watch that. But yeah, those are some of the decisions that they have. We'll look around the league in another video that I'm going to have, and I'm going to see like what, because everything that every team does has a ripple effect. So that's why I want to make sure that I cover that. Even though I'm a big time Yankee fan, you can't just ignore what the other teams are doing. That's how, you know, you become uninformed. So I want to make sure that we all know, we're all in the know when it comes to what's going on here. So let's go ahead and see what Brian Cashman says.
There's some moves in the playoffs that didn't work out that you're disappointed in with him.
That's true. That you can do that. You know, the manager job is so impossible. So you can play the game of second guessing because you're either going to make a move and it'll be right, you make a move and it'll be wrong, and then have at it, right? So, as I said, I think he's a really, really good manager. I think we're lucky to have him, and he's done a great job. And but at the same time, it's a very hard job to do. Always. So, and it gets harder in the postseason because ultimately it's either whatever you do either works or it doesn't. So there's no gray area. So
there is no surprise for me that Brian Cashman is backing his guy. No surprise at all. Aaron Boone, as we know, is a Cashman dude. I think as soon as he got hired, Brian Cashman said, I would like to have him as my manager for the next 10 years. So am I surprised that he's backing him here? Absolutely not. While it is true that, you know, second guessing the manager and being a manager is probably the hardest thing because a lot of your job depends on the players actually doing theirs. Sometimes it's about putting people in situations that you feel like they're going to succeed. And while maybe Nestor Cortez was put on the roster to go after the lefties and Ohtani and some of the Freddie Freeman, maybe that's not the spot to bring him in a situation in the game one where you're trying to get this game and you got a lead here. Maybe Tim Hill, who has earned it to that point, could be a guy. That's not even a second guess. That's, to me, a first guess, but that's just me. Now, Brian Cashman talks about his takeaways from facing the Dodgers in the 2024 World Series.
You kind of touched on it yesterday with the question that John asked you about the differences you saw between your team and the Dodgers in the World Series. Just some of the lapses, base running. I know you said some of the defensive ones were flukish things with Judge being a good player that he is. Are there things you learned going forward as far as the way to make the team for next year? Things you take out of that, or how do you?
I think a lot of things can. First and foremost, I acknowledge that we played poorly in the World Series. First and foremost, that's, we all saw that, and unfortunately, our A game didn't show up when it counted the most. I also think, objectively, if you take a step back and analyze who we played, whether it was the Dodgers or any of the other postseason teams that were participating, whether it was us playing them or other teams in the National League, those rosters are all constructed with players that do things in some category better than others. You have exceptionally great defenders that don't hit as well. You have really good hitters that don't defend as well, and the combination of how it all fits together plays out a certain way over the course of 162, and then in the month of October if you're lucky to get there. So we have some players that are better offensively than they are defensively. We have some players that are better defensively than they are offensively, and so I don't think it's anything other than I acknowledge that we did not play well in certain categories, especially in the World Series. Every year your season ends, you do your best to attack areas of weakness. You currently have players that will remain with your team, and then you have a chance to go to marketplace to see if you're going to.
All right, I'll say this, man. He said that the Yankees did not show up with their A game. They played poorly. That's a good thing to admit because they did. But I will say that this is kind of like what the Yankees game kind of was. They weren't a fundamentally sound team. It's like that all year. Also base running and just these kind of decisions that they made where some people look at them as boneheaded. Basically, the whole Dodger scouting report, that's kind of like the team that you have, Pop. Like, that's the team that you built. So to say you didn't bring your A game, I think the Yankees kind of brought the game that they play, unfortunately, which is more status quo. I think for them to play very clean defense throughout a whole series and for them to play like flawless ball, I think that's more of the outlier than anything else because that's not like the team that we've seen all year. And hopefully that changes going forward. Hopefully this is kind of like something that the Yankees see and they're like, you know what? If we lose, we lose, and we're not going to lose in this way again. Hopefully these are the Yankees takeaways. But what do I know?
Improve the team in certain ways, shape, form, and we're back at it. That's the nature of the beast. That's how it always is. So, but I don't think that, the question I think posed is if the Dodgers are excelling in all categories at every position. They're the world champs and they get all the credit, but I don't think it's a fair representation at the same time. I think it's more fair to say, did we just play poorly in that series and underperform? I think we underperformed in that series, more so than somehow this team was lucky to get to the World Series and how do we even get there? And we had a good team. Unfortunately, we just didn't play our best when it counted the most, and we played a good team. So as every team you're playing in the postseason is.
I agree with Brian Cashman in terms of, I don't think that the Yankees were, quote-unquote, lucky to get there. I think the Yankees played well throughout the AL to be able to get there. They took advantage of the competition that they had. That's just the nature of the beast. And then they got to the World Series. They were playing the same kind of ball the whole way. They didn't play well. They didn't hit. Their MVP didn't hit. I mean, all of those things are true. So if they win game one, do things change? Shoulda, woulda, coulda. I mean, that's not what we're going to play in right now. The Dodgers outplay the Yanks. Now, are they better than them in every facet of the game? I don't think so. We looked at in my last video. If you guys haven't checked it out, make sure you guys do. It talked about how basically, I know that game 4 kind of skews it with the scoring and stuff like that. But for the most part, they were kind of even in terms of pitching-wise. I think that what made the difference was things like those fundamentals, where the Dodgers took advantage. Their whole game plan was make the Yankees try to play fundamentally sound. And I think that if the Yankees would have played a outlier type of series and played really good fundamentally, bro, I think that they would have ended up winning that series. And that's just me. I could be wrong, but I think even Dodger fans will admit that if the Yankees did not kick the ball around or play like crap, maybe this series would have at least been 3-2 going back to LA. I'm going to call a spade a spade. I'm not taking anything away from the Dodgers. I think that the Dodgers did exactly what they needed to do. Make the Yankees play baseball. And all of the teams that played the Yankees throughout the year, a lot, AL East specifically, made the Yankees do that. If you go back all the way to when they faced Boston, and Boston had that record game in steals and things like that. They basically put the ball in play and ran all over the place. They ran all over the place on I think they had 9 steals in that game. Something to look at. The Orioles played the Yankees really good this year. Why? Because they took advantage of just that. They put the ball in play all the time against the Yankees. They scouted them correctly. So let's see what he says this is what he says on Joe Kelly's comments. Oh, by the way, Joe Kelly's been very boisterous and all of this stuff for a guy that did not throw one pitch in the World Series. Correct me if I'm wrong. Did he even throw a pitch in the playoffs for the Dodgers? You're talking a lot, but let's see. It's just crazy. Bench players are talking like they starters. It's wild.
Joe Kelly was saying that they talked about this beforehand, like we know they're going to make mistakes. That's who they are. When you hear that, you say that's just him, or you say, well, maybe there is something to that if the Dodgers are talking about us before the series, how we're a team that's going to make mistakes?
That is a great question to Brian Cashman. Does that bother you that their scouting report literally is make them play baseball? They suck defensively. They suck fundamentally. Does that bother you that this is what your team's scouting report is? Like, it's kind of like, for me, it bothered me to see that. I knew what it was. It wasn't a surprise to me. But the fact that the team's open scouting report is that, it can't be that. Not for a World Series team.
I heard that. I also know people with the Dodgers, so I've got some internal conversations that I've got certainly feedback on. I think it's more representative of some specific players.
No. Now, there's 2 things there. I don't know if he's saying is he saying that it's specific to just Joe Kelly, or is he talking about like just specific players on the Yankees team? If he's talking about the Joe Kelly angle, no, that's a whole team-wide scouting report that they had on the Yankees, man. And yeah, you talk to your friends at the Dodgers or whatever it is. Sure. Sure. Okay, they're going to tell you, yeah, Cashman, keep doing what you're doing, man. But let's be honest, man. The Yankees were not sound fundamentally. They just weren't. And I don't want to beat a dead horse, bro, but that's just real.
Rather than the overall group. And in Joe's case, it feels like it's some reason it's a little personal. You know, the way he's out talking is like he has. So
it's 100% personal for Joe Kelly. It's 100% personal with Joe Kelly against the Yankees. And, I mean, I'll tell you guys why. Joe Kelly, when with the Red Sox, obviously he was in that and all of that stuff. He had a whole situation. He had a whole fight when he threw at Tyler Austin. This is back in 2018. This was like early in my content creation career, so please don't judge me too harshly. So this is all right. So yeah, it is personal for Joe Kelly. Let's see what happened back in 2018. He hit him. You see what I mean? That's that bullshit. That's that bullshit, my man. What you doing? Oh, we fighting? Let's go. Let's go. Oh, shit. Fuck that shit. Yo, punch it. Yo, what the fuck? Oh, punch him in the face. Let's go. Fuck out of here. Fuck out of here, Joe Kelly. Let's go. Oh, I thought that was David Ortiz. Yo, is that? Oh, that nigga got punched in the face, though. Yo, that David Ortiz, Pablo Sandoval hybrid dude got punched in the face, bro. Who is that dude? Yo, my man, CC. Roar. Fuck out my way, nigga. Get the fuck out my way. No. Get the fuck out my way. Fuck, get the fuck grabbing, nigga. Get the fuck out. Fuck out of here. Fuck out of here. Get the who that David Ortiz? Should I do more videos like that? Yo, listen, man. It was a good time. It's a good time. I like that. I like that whole brawl. But yeah, it is personal for Joe Kelly, man. He doesn't like the Yankees, and that's fine. I don't think everybody's supposed to like the Yankees. He's a Red Sox. It's just what it is. He even mentioned how, Red Sox beat them or whatever. I think he mentioned the Red Sox somewhere, Joe Kelly. I don't know where it was. But yeah, he loves the Red Sox. Just what it is.
It feels like that's more personal than anything else. So I can't make much more than that, but I know he's certainly talking a lot right now, and hey, he won, or they won, so I can just say what I just said.
while it is personal for him, I think a lot of the stuff that Joe Kelly did say was true in terms of the Yankee defense, playing Yankee defense. Part of it was trolling. He's also trolling too, but I mean, that is their scouting report. Brian Cashman also talks about Gleyber Torres and what he's meant to the team or what he's done bad or whatnot. I thought he handled this well.
Does that bother you? His defense, is that a problem in your mind when you look at his fielding percentage? And obviously he's very good going to the right, but not very good going the other way.
I think Gleyber has been a really good Major League Baseball player. In the end, one of the reasons why we got as far as we did. I'm not going to dissect what he's good at and what he's not as good at. Obviously, I think he'll have a lot of conversations with a lot of teams that have a need in that area. And that also might include us, who knows. And but I appreciate his efforts while he was here, and he was mashing down the stretch like we needed him to be. But again, everybody has their strengths and weaknesses, but I'm not going to dissect what's best as we move forward. We're just going to obviously make the best decisions we can with what's available from within. Or outside. We can import a third baseman, move Jazz over. We can promote from within with a guy like Caleb Durbin, for instance, who's crushing it in the Arizona Fall League. We can run into some trade opportunities or free agents. Just not sure what we're going to do just yet. But I want to thank Gleyber for the time while he was here, without closing any doors either on a reunion either.
I mean, personally, I saw nothing wrong there. I think Cashman answered that perfectly. You don't want to kind of like, on a guy that played with you for so long, guy you traded for and was playing for you for so long, finally entering free agency, don't mess up his bag. You get what I mean? Like, teams will see what they see, but you don't want to like be the people out there kind of like championing his deficiencies. You know what I mean? You don't want to do that. Like, you don't mess up his bag, People know Gleyber's problems, especially defensively and what was going on. I think Cashman thanked them in the right way, did not close the door to saying, hey, we're not, because you can't even do that. Did not close the door to him and did not, salt his free agency, man. Let him experience his free agency. Let him try to get his bread. You know what I mean? I don't think Gleyber Torres is back. I think he needs to change the scenery. I think the Yankees do. I won't rule it out because if the price comes down significantly, I could see the Yankees doing it again. I could see Gleyber coming back for that. Yankees did not give him a qualifying offer because it was at 20-point-something million, and I think Gleyber would have taken it. And that was smart on the Yankees to do. So they have more options now. Caleb Durbin in the Arizona Fall League is killing it right now. I believe the other day he actually passed himself, or his last year's record for most stolen bases in the Arizona Fall League. So it's a kid with an ability, but he's also talked about bringing in a possible third baseman, moving Jazz over to second, which I think the Yankees will do and should do going forward. So let's see what happens with that. But he's keeping his mind open, but don't shit on Gleyber. Good job. Now let's get to the meat and potatoes. Cashman talks about when he talked to Scott Boras about Juan Soto.
When you recruit high-profile external free agents, you have pitch meetings and put your best foot forward. Do you have a need, or do you anticipate that with Juan, or is that not needed since he spent the season here?
I think I had a conversation with Scott Boras yesterday, so I know he was going to have conversations with Juan. Since he knows us, we are standing ready to meet with him if he feels necessary to meet with us, as he, understands the landscape of opportunities that now exist for himself. He's played obviously in Washington, he played in San Diego, now he's played here. So we are more than willing to meet as many times as he would like to meet. But I think Scott Boras was going to talk to Juan and get a feel for whether he felt it was necessary for us to have as many time in person with him as other clubs, because he knows us, so we stand ready to do whatever. We certainly have an interest in retaining him, and we'll put our best foot forward there. But at the same time, that'll either lead to us retaining him and signing him back, or we'll be forced to go to a different direction if we can't. And if we can't, there's a lot of different players in this marketplace that can positively impact this roster in different ways. Mm-hmm. So, we will be working on, every aspect of opportunity and exploring any way possible to put together the best team we possibly can for 2025 because we want to get back to where we just finished, which was in the World Series.
Soto, if you want to meet, we could meet. We obviously been meeting throughout the whole year. We've been here. We probably had lunch together a bunch of times. Yankees probably been trying to sell him all year on the Yankees, and the Yankees are saying, you know what, we're going to try to put our best foot forward, not only to put together a really good team, but to get back to this World Series. And Juan Soto, if you want to talk, we could talk whenever you want. Go ahead and talk to whoever you want to talk to, but we're going to talk to you. We're here for you. We're trying to be your home forever, but at the same time, if you choose not to come this way or whatnot, then, you know, we got to pivot, and it is what it is. I think it's true. Don't try to, like, oversell either. You are the Yankees. However, I think you got to be thirsty for Juan Soto, bro. Like, he's 26, and he's basically Ted Williams. So let's see what he does. Let's see what happens in this free agency. It's going to be a whole process. Hopefully, it's not super drawn out all the way up to the to spring training and things like that. But hopefully, they can be able to figure things out. Maybe by the baseball winter meetings. That'll be cool if that does happen then, so that other things can happen, and we can actually enjoy Christmas or holidays and things like that. But we'll see. Cashman has then talked about the Mets and the threat that they pose in signing Juan Soto.
Right, there's only a handful of teams that realistically.
Oh, this guy's close.
Like Soto.
Holy.
The Mets specifically.
Bro.
What kind of threat do you think they pose?
I mean, they, I don't, it's hard to say. I mean, I know they're, they want to win. They're in a large market with us. They had a taste of success this year.
They've had a taste of success this year? No way, bruh.
They want to, move the needle even more forward. So, and the best way to do that is get, import quality players to what you already have. So that's what they, and anybody interested in winning and being the last team standing, that's what it's all about, is trying to find great players and add it to your mix.
I've got nothing to say for that.
Does that make you nervous that their owner has 3 times the net worth as your owner, and if they want him, that they can get him? Probably.
I think that's just the nature of the beast. And big market owners with deep pockets aren't the only ones signing, players to big deals. I mean, you've seen the San Diego Padres sitting out in the West Coast. They've imported a lot of big-time players with big-time contracts, that they've out-competed other teams of interest for. So it comes in various forms in various cities at various times. So, the market on a year-in, year-out basis is strong from all different aspects of the baseball universe. So, we do our best to compete with whomever on a year-in, year-out basis.
Oh, what kind of question is that? That's crazy. Brian Cashman was also asked if he did talk to Scott Boras about anybody else.
Pete Alonso's name come up in your call with Boras by any chance?
Yeah, sure he did. So there's a lot of high-quality players in this marketplace, and certainly Pete did an amazing job with the Mets. And so had a brief conversation with Scott about a lot of he has a lot of free agents, which is normal, and Pete's one of them. So, yes.
I mean, what do I make of that? Does that mean that the Yankees are targeting Pete Alonso and, they're trying to poach each other's players? I just think that they're the Yankees. They're always going to say that they're going to check in on everybody, that they're in on everybody. It's just what it is. They're just always going to do that. I don't know would Pete Alonso be a fit for this team? I don't want to think of a world without Juan Soto. That's my answer to that. All right, and that's all that Brian Cashman really had to say out of that meeting. I talked to him. Look for more quotes to be able to come out, whether it's today, tomorrow, the day after, throughout this whole GM meetings. We'll see what happens. I think it's really interesting to say there. I think the funniest tidbit to me was what he said about the Mets. And he says, they got a taste of success this year. I mean, it just felt like a backhanded compliment, but that's just me. Let me know what you guys took out of this. And let me know what questions you guys have. Yankees still have decisions to make. They're saying that they have a deadline coming up right now on Aaron Boone's option, whether they want to pick it up or not. Seems like they are with the way that they're talking about it and the way that they're talking about him, and the fact that an hour after the World Series, while the Dodgers are still celebrating on their field, they came out and said emphatically that he's going to come up via Andy Martino. So their intentions. So we'll see what happens with that. There'll be more stuff, little slow trickle on news. I don't think you should expect big trades or big players. I'm still trying to form like my offseason blueprint of who I think the Yankees should target or what way the Yankees should go or whatnot. So if you want to throw some names my way and make some suggestions, be my guest. I'm open to everything, not just a regular way, shape, or form. Get creative with trades. Try to see who we could be able to bring in and whatnot, and see what you can do. Look for trade partners around the league. I'm going to do so as well. But guys, thank you guys so much for joining in on this video. This is your first time on here, guys, and you stood this long. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and let's go. Next video coming out pretty soon. I will see you guys later, and thank you guys so much for watching. Bye.